You guys think I overdo it with the theming in these videos? Anyway, returning to Steven Universe reviews today, again, with another issue of the old Steven Universe ongoing series. Let's talk about... what issue was this? Looked it up just a minute ago, too. 15. I think it was 15. The title will reflect the correct issue number, though, if I'm wrong. And I've talked about it before. I want to branch off and do some other Steven Universe comic stuff kind of as I'm doing these. And I'm definitely going to stop here and do that for the next review, at least. I'm definitely going to do that this time, because this one was a Gem Stuff story, technically speaking. And in that, it was really the first time these ongoing comics have done a Gem story to facilitate a character story, the way that the show might have. And it did a really good job of it. It had the best art, first of all, that I can remember from this series so far. Certainly better than what we've been getting so far recently. Because I cannot stress enough, I don't think the art has been bad. I just feel like it's been less than it could have been. But here it was just impeccable. In this one, Garnet approaches Steven while he's playing a game and very politely asks him if he isn't too busy with his game to help her on a mission, and because she needs someone who can help him deal with a pair of volatile gems. She uses the shooting star as an example, that says that they're volatile in a different way. And what that means is that there's a cold one and a hot one, and they have to stay at the same temperature that they started at. They can't increase or decrease in temperature as they equalize with the room around them, or else the temple that they're in will just teleport them back to their pedestal, and there's security measures in place inside the temple that keep you from just bubbling them out of the room. It's a little convenient to set up for what's to come, because obviously, given that premise, and given the fact that Garnet is involved in the story, we're going to need Ruby and Sapphire. But I gotta say, convenient or not, I really like how this story facilitates interactions between Garnet and Steven, and Ruby and Sapphire and Steven later, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Like, I like how polite Garnet was, asking him if he had time to help her. Because I'm starting to think, at the very least, this comic is implying that all of those missions where Garnet just arbitrarily decided they needed to do them right then and there when there was no, quantifiable reason why. I think this comic's just implying that she picked those times because those were times when Steven was most likely to learn a lesson or, step up his leadership or something during the mission or its aftermath. Because it's clear through her interactions with him in this story that she's trying to help him grow. He gets bummed out that it's a long walk up to the temple, so she turns it into a race, and suddenly Steven, someone who is way more athletic than he usually thinks he is, right? Clearly, just from the way he behaves in the show, is using his gem buoyancy powers to race her up this long path like it's nothing. And at the very end, she slows down enough to let him win because she's a good mom. And even though she definitely knew what was going to happen, and this temple is definitely dangerous, it's not a level of danger that Steven and Ruby and Sapphire can't handle, so it seems like Garnet actually keeps the information back from them so that Steven can actually learn the lesson as they go. Because, of course, let's not kid ourselves, we all knew this was going to happen. Once Ruby and Sapphire are out, they get distracted by being flirty with each other and forget to regulate their temperatures, and so the gems keep teleporting back to their pedestal, which is just gorgeous. Can we talk for a second about how pretty this temple is? One of the things I've criticized these comics for in the past is that they didn't always seem to have great backgrounds. But here we have a setting that looks great. It looks like something right out of the episodes of the show where they were really trying to establish the look of Gem Stuff on Earth. It was very nostalgic while still feeling really cool. Seeing a pair of gemstones in the hands of a statue as their place of rest felt like something right out of season 1 of the show. But of course, the gems teleport back to their pedestal, and then the temple ejects the trespassers from its premises, let's say. So they try again, and the same thing happens, but both times they're fine. They survive fairly easily. And Steven realizes that maybe Garnet didn't just want him to tag along and, pay attention this time. Maybe based on some stuff she had said earlier, she actually wanted him to take charge and keep Ruby and Sapphire on task. And so he literally takes their hands and guides them out so that they focus on him and what they need to do to get out before focusing on themselves, which they do once they get out. But at the same time, they also acknowledge that they have trouble focusing when they're apart. And so in the end, they're able to put aside their usual back and forth bantery stuff to just get on with it and fuse back into Garnet, showing that they have at least learned a little bit from the situation. And then Garnet congratulates Steven for being such a big help. It's really cute. It's just a really cute story with some absolutely adorable art. Like, the way the characters are drawn several times throughout this comic, it's just super cute and dynamic. Like, particularly Sapphire. You could tell the artist on this one just had so much fun drawing Sapphire. And then there's the story, which one of the commenters on the site where I read the scans of these put it better than I ever could. And it's just super cute. Ruby and Sapphire have always been super cute together, you know, except for the rare instances where they're fighting or something. But even then, they're kind of adorable. They're these tiny little lesbians who are just so hopelessly wrapped up in each other that you can't help but laugh at their crazy antics. And this comic captures that so well, while also making it clear just how much Steven loves them and they love Steven. They also touch on Future Vision very briefly here too, talking about how, and this is a thing that I've kind of learned to accept over my time talking about this show, is that there's a human error factor, or gem error factor, I guess, technically, that comes into play with Future Vision. Sapphire saw that getting out of this temple was so easy in so many futures that she didn't even consider that they might have to worry about it. And that makes sense. I still don't understand, like, for example, how Garnet, like, let's use the Pink Diamond thing for an example. How did Garnet not know that Rose was Pink Diamond? Because you would imagine that as often as she looks into Steven's future, she would have seen a future where he found that out, since it's literally the only thing that Rose ever could have been discovered to be, because that's what she was. There was no other possible future for that. So all she would have had to do was stumble upon one future where Steven found out his mom's true identity to know Steven's mom's true identity. Stuff like that still bugs me, where there was only ever like the one outcome in that given situation. So she it doesn't feel like she could have missed it. But for everything else, this explanation works perfectly fine. It was just all around a really strong episode. It wasn't a lore episode or anything, even though they did go to a gem temple. But considering I looked ahead to the next one, and it's another townie related one, it looks like a really good townie related one, to be fair, but it's another townie related one. I think this is a good place to jump off and do one of the one-shots or something. I'm not sure which one yet, but we'll see. It's going to be fun. As per usual, though, guys, what did you think of Steven Universe ongoing issue, whatever issue this was? If you have read it, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, you might as well like the video, share it with anyone else who think you enjoy my content, subscribe if you haven't. You can also check out links to my various social medias, as well as the many ways you can help out the channel. Those will be in the video description, but either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.